Hello my friends, what's up? And welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another declutter video. I'm just gonna jump right to it and we're gonna do eyeshadow palettes today. So you already know this is going to be the most epic of declutter videos because eyeshadow palettes are my absolute favorite thing to buy. So obviously it's what I have most of, and there is a lot to go through because I have collected quite a bit through the years, and over the years I have already decluttered and I still have a crazy amount of palettes. So if you're interested in seeing what eyeshadow palettes I'm gonna declutter today, clean up my collection a little bit, then just keep on watching. Alrighty, my friends, so in voiceover style, because surprise, surprise, when I loaded the footage, there was no audio for a good portion of this. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start cleaning out drawer number 1. I'm going to pull out the face palettes just because there's not enough space for those elsewhere. But starting off with the Stormy palette, I was kind of not sure if I wanted to keep it or not, but honestly, I haven't reached for it in so long, and I have used it, I think, all of twice. The aesthetic is beautiful, and there's a couple of shades that I really, really like that are very intense, but overall, I just don't use it. That gold one in the middle, though, it's beautiful. So I think we're just going to go ahead and move this one on. Let's declutter this palette, palette number 1. So going into the BFF palette, I love this one. This is one of BH Cosmetics' best, in my opinion, so definitely holding on to that one. Followed by so just FYI, this drawer houses a lot of palettes that don't fit elsewhere. That's why they're all laying down like that. So going into this Too Faced palette, this is a holiday gingerbread palette from, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. And I know about Too Faced holiday palettes. They are very hit or miss, but honestly, I really enjoyed this one. So I am going to go ahead and keep that one. The Maddie Ziegler palette by Morphe is also, I feel like, one of their best. I love this palette so much, and I do get use out of it, so this is definitely a keeper for me as well. The Melt Amori Mariposas palette, you guys know this is not one of my favorites, but honestly it's so new, it was quite expensive, so I will hold on to this one. I do enjoy a good melt palette, so we'll hold on to it. The Rudolph palette by ColourPop, I literally only bought because of the cover. I know it's not ideal, but anyways, but I am going to hold on to it. I hope to use it this next holiday season. Same with Ticket to Dreamland. I got it like on super special, and it's okay. Again, not one of ColourPop's best, but I'll hold on to it for now. The Tie-Dye palette by Violet Voss, definitely keeping. It looks like a highlighter set in an eyeshadow palette. You guys know how I feel about my pops of color. And then the Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams. If y'all are looking for a pastel palette, this is the one that you need to pick up. Pastels are very hard to do. They can look very, not ashy, but they take building. I mean, they take like 5-6 layers, and even then you don't get a good punch of color. This one is completely different, and it has the matching like metallic, and so it's stunning. These are just absolutely beautiful. Again, it's an indie brand, and it's a little pricey, but honestly, the quality you get, look at that. I mean, you can't tell me that you can find pastels elsewhere that are any better than that. So definitely worth the price tag. I see myself keeping this one for, the duration of its life, quite frankly. So let's move into a couple of Too Faced palettes. So the Natural Love and the Natural Lust palette. These are just, I feel like I love the covers. I loved them when I first got them, especially this one. But honestly, I look at it now and I'm kind of bored. So I don't really use this one too much. I mean, I can't even tell you the last time I used it. Honestly, I love it for the packaging, but I think for the time being, I'm going to keep it because I'm definitely keeping this corresponding one, the Natural Lust palette. There's a few shades in here that I really do enjoy, and obviously I've even kept the box. That's how much I like it. So this one is just, again, the packaging, the aesthetic, just simply beautiful. And this one is, I don't know, the shades are a little bit brighter, a little bit more cheerful, something I would reach for a little bit more frequently. So I'm definitely keeping this one as well. So let's move into the Makeup Revolution. I think it's called Forever Limitless. I don't remember. But it is also a very intense maybe not highlighter shades like that Violet Voss, but it is a very intense, bright couple of neons, and the quality is good. And with Makeup Revolution, it is super hit or miss. The Love Struck palette by Profusion Cosmetics. I got this one at Walmart a long time ago, and I don't reach for it, but I don't know. It's one of those that I like looking at, but I don't really use too much. And it's really the perfect Valentine's with those pinks and purples, so I'll hold on to it for now. And then you guys know how I feel about Mrs. Claus the Lit List. That ain't going anywhere. And then the Too Faced Too Femme palette for spring is actually quite lovely. I'm very much enjoying it. So, of course, it's one of my newer palettes. I'm definitely going to hold on to it, so it'll stay in the collection for now. Moving into the next drawer, I've got some really good palettes in here. So let's go ahead and start off with this Too Faced Gingerbread Lane collection. There's 3 sets and they smell like their corresponding palettes. So it's like berry, banana bread, and gingerbread or something along those lines. And I actually like that little set very much, even though I hardly ever use it. So definitely keeping that. Going into the Adeline Morin palette by Tarte. I loved this one when I first picked it up. It's been used so minimal, but I kept on holding on to it because I'm like, no, I like it, I like it. I love really the packaging. The yellow, it's just so cheerful. But honestly, it's been a very long time since I've liked a Tarte palette, and I've just fallen just truly out of love with the brand as a whole. So I think we're going to move that one on. As far as the Artist Couture Supreme Nudes and Supreme Bronze palettes, I will definitely hold on to those. The bronze palette is the least of the 2 that I enjoy, but it is what it is. We'll hold on to it for now. The e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. So e.l.f. is also for me super hit or miss when it comes to eyeshadows, but for some reason this one just hit every right mark for me when it came out, and I like using it during the summer. So let's get into Melt. So I did not know when I first picked this one up. This was the very first launch, day 1, this palette had first come out. And I did not know what this stood for when it came in. My husband was like, why did you buy a palette with that theming? And I was like, oh, what theming? And he told me, and here we are. So I had no idea. Listen, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot when it comes to that. So definitely keeping that one, though. The color scheme is beautiful. She's in Parties. Radioactive, one of my favorites for brights. I love that one. Blueprint, one of my least favorites by the brand. Brunette, I very much enjoy. And then, of course, the Vida y Muerte, the Rustic palette. All beautiful. Now, Millennial Pinks is one of my very favorite pink palettes, which is crazy because so many people, the majority of people, disliked it so much. So, holding on to that one. Same with Mary Jane. I had no idea what the theming was for this. Just shows you how much I know, but anyways, here we are. So, but I feel like a lot of people gave that one mixed reviews too. I actually quite like it. This is the Patrick Ta face palette. I gotta move that out of there. Again, I don't have space for it elsewhere, so. The Dominique Cosmetics Latte 2. I like this one. I like the color scheme. I love the aesthetic. It's like coffee spilled on paper. It's just very, very pretty. And I have decluttered most of her palettes, but that's one that I will keep at this time. So there's 2 that I have, and that's one of them. So the Danessa Myricks, what is this called? Like the Lighting Edit Palette 3, something along those lines. Oh, Lightwork, Volume 3. This isn't going anywhere. I love it. For some duo trio chromes, that one's incredible. The Michaela by Glamlight, holding on to that one for sure. I'm not a fan of their mattes, but I definitely like their metallics. And then this BH Cosmetics Color Festival, I used this once, and I really thought I would reach for it more just based on the brights, based on how much I like a good BH Cosmetics palette, but I don't. So we're going to just move this one on. The Take Me to Brazil palette, this is the non-matte version, and it's absolutely incredible. Any kind of tone you need for a bright, like it's got a row and it's got individual, like it goes light, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. So if you need that one particular colorful shade, it's likely in there. This palette I'm definitely keeping. My sweet friend and subscriber Noe, if you're watching, thank you so much. This lives and gets used in my collection, and I just love it so much. In fact, it's Noe gifting me this palette that caused me to want to get the Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams palette. So I'm definitely so, so grateful to her for that.
All right, let's move on to the next drawer. So we've got quite a few stacked in here to go through. So let's go through Violet Voss. So we've got the Rainbow palette. Now keeping in mind I already kept that tie-dye palette. This one's pretty, and again, I really thought I would use this one so much more than I have, and I just don't reach for it. So I feel very conflicted about this one, but I think the time has come to move it on. It's those two greens at the top right that just really hold me back from wanting to move it on, but it is just not getting used. So I think as much as it pains me to move this one on, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the plunge and do it. Let's go ahead and declutter this rainbow palette. So let's go into a few other Violet Voss palettes. The Sakura Blossom I just recently used for Valentine's. You know I love it. The Sugar Crystals, I feel like it's beautiful once it's on, but I struggle to reach for it, and I don't know why. I think it's because those top crystal shades, those topper shades at the bottom, they are more of a twinkle and don't pack as much of a punch. But I also find that with Violet Voss, like this little gunky thing on here, what is that even? I find that Violet Voss palettes tend to do funky things the longer you have them. Granted, I know makeup expires, but not all, but quite a few of my Violet Voss have done something weird and I've had to toss them. But I feel like I really do need to give this one a little more time. I don't think I'm ready to part with it quite yet. And then Coral Crush is actually one of my favorite palettes ever. Like the color story, the formula, the intensity, it's just beautiful, and I love me a good coral eyeshadow. So this one's definitely staying in my collection. As for my Hudas, I love a good Huda palette, and so we're not going to part honestly with any of them. Mercury Retrograde, Naughty Nudes, the Desert Dusk New Nudes, and then the new Rose Gold. I think it was Rose Gold. Um, I love them, and I don't know that I would ever be able to part with them. So let's go into a few Marc Jacobs palettes. Now, I have FOMO when I see these at Marshall's, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta pick it up. And then I use it once or twice, and then it just sits here. So I think this one was a summer one. I think we're gonna go ahead and move this one on. I'm just not using it. Now, as far as these other two, one of them is the gold and the other one is the cherry. The cherry, I think, was a holiday palette a couple years ago. And I love the packaging, but I don't use the inside. So, gosh, I'm very conflicted about this one, but I do think I'm going to move this one on. It's just not getting used as much as I love it. And so, I don't know. You know, I love these kind of cherry tones, but this gold palette I'm definitely keeping. I bought it for two shades, for like that green gold and then that bright gold. So this one's definitely staying with me. I very much like this one. And this was just a reminder that I need to pull it out and use it. So let's move into Artist Couture. So this is the, I think, Caliente palette. Their formula isn't the best, but I really do like this color story, so I'm going to hold on to it. It's, again, their mattes are just, no, but this Ethereal Bloom one also, I'm going to hold on to it. They're super dry, feels like sandpaper. So these are the Glam Light palette, the happy hour ones, and I love the metallics. Again, not a fan of their mattes, but that's okay. Out of the two, obviously the Martini one is my jam. I love a good olive green. So we're going to hold on to those. I am enjoying them for now. So moving into Natasha Denona, again, listen, okay, hold on. Got to come back to a Too Faced. The teddy bear I love. I want to say it's on sale right now at Sephora. That is one of their best. I really do love the teddy bear palette. This one by Cara Beauty I got at Marshall's, and I love that olive shade. So for that reason, I'm going to hold on to it. If it weren't for that, I'd probably declutter it. But it is a beautiful olive shade. BH Cosmetics, this is, I feel like I will hold on to this one forever because those metallic shades are not only beautiful on the eye, but they're a beautiful highlight as well. And then this Mimosa palette, I just really enjoy, again, with kind of the corals and the pinks. So I don't say I love this palette, but I like it enough to keep reaching for it. And then was another Marshall's pickup. This is the Summer in Saint Tropez palette. And it's pretty, but there's something about it, again, with sometimes it's just looking at it, and Color Story will make you reach for something or not. And this is one of those palettes, so I think I'm going to go ahead and move this one on. It is lovely, but it's just not something that's getting used for the time being. So have plenty of BH, and we can move that one on. So let's go into a few Kylie palettes. I have more on the other side of the room, but for now, let's talk the Santa Claus palette, obviously the Grinch palette I'm holding on to. And then You're So Money Baby, I very much like because it's got, again, with the greens, a few shade of greens that I really just do fully like. So we're going to hold on to those. I'm not ready to part with those quite yet. And now we go to the Natasha Denona, and I love a good Natasha Denona palette. So the Glam Face palettes, I mean, just over the moon for the Love palette, the Glam palette, which has become one of my favorites, despite the fact I am not huge on cool tone stories. Then, of course, the like Bronze palette and the Sunrise palette, Sunset palette. Anyways, I very much enjoy her palettes, and I'm coming to practically my favorite, and it's the Metropolis palette. This palette was so good. I don't ever see myself parting with this one. And it's kind of like the midi palettes. It's got the smaller pan sizes, but this one's got a lot of shades, and they're just so good. Every time I use it, I'm just like blown away. So this one was standout for me. I hope she does more of these. I know it was a holiday palette, but anyways. So then, you know, all the norm, the sunset and the gold. Oh my gosh, the gold was another one that just set the bar so high. And I love this. Now, I have noticed with Natasha Denona palettes that as they get older, which again, makeup expires, they tend to get a little more powdery, those like high intensity ones. Circo Loco is one of my very favorites just because she's not done those brights before, and I love that palette so much. Then I have the Tropic palette, which had made its way to the sale section sometime back. This is one that I feel like I could part with, but you know, it's one of those where you're like, all right, I've already got kind of a full collection here, and my heart's not ready to move it on. So I'm trying to reach for the Safari palette, which I'll get it out here shortly. It's kind of crowded back there. So the Safari palette, if you've got like green eyes, is perfect for making your eye color pop. It's an all matte palette, and you know how I feel about all mattes, but this one just, there's just something special about it. It's very pigmented. The tones are just lovely, and they are very Safari. This is the original Star palette before she, like, I think she kind of reformulated and came out with it again. But here's where I also say, you see how powdery it is? That's just over time, they're becoming a little drier. And so this is the palette that really caused me to fall in love with Natasha Denona. So it's got a special place in my heart, and I just can't bring myself to part with it. All right, let's go into the drawer that has not only Pat, but quite a few like BH and other stuff. So this is a good drawer. My quads, my Pat quads, I'm holding on to. There's a reason I buy certain quads, and I buy them because I know I will use them, because I know they've got standout shades that are just totally up my alley. So these two are going to stay with me for sure. And so is this one, the Venus in Fleurs. So good. But let's move into Juvia's Place, a super affordable brand that has really stellar shadows. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I think I'll declutter this. And then I open it up and I'm like, oh, heck no, I can't, no, there's no way. So these next two were holiday ones from a couple years back, and they're just beautiful and very intense. And granted, they're only 6-pan palettes, but you know what? The price is very reasonable. These two did have a pressed glitter, which I almost wish that was a metallic instead, but that's okay. I'm still going to hold on to it. And then I do find their packaging it doesn't hold up as the greatest, but again, the price point. So, and this is just a pink lover's dream. It's beautiful. So these will definitely stay in my collection. I cannot bring myself to part with those quite yet. So let's go into BH Cosmetics. I can't even tell you how much I love these Sweet Shop palettes. So I had already bought like one, and then again, my sweet friend and subscriber Noe, she's just so good to me. Thank you, Noe, for sending me, I think it was the cotton candy that I could not find, because remember when they sold out, you could not find these anywhere. So she was so sweet and sent me her cotton candy that she wasn't going to use. And then when they restocked, I finished out my collection. And I love them because each one is themed to what it is. Like the orange sherbet is orange, and then the cherry on top is a red themed palette, and so on and so forth. And I don't reach for them too often, but like right now I'm reminded of how much I love these. So I'm probably going to take these out to remember to use them just because I love them so much. So see, this is like a total green toned palette, just the mattes and the metallics, and BH makes a killer metallic. They are so good. So definitely holding on to all of those. So let's go into a few Viseart palettes. These are the two I got for Christmas, so I'm definitely holding on to them. The Bijouette is one that I was a little bit deeper than what I thought. I was hoping it was brighter. That's okay. I'm holding on to it because they're pretty new. And then these two are just two that I loved. I bought them because the color story just truly spoke to me, and I do very much enjoy them. This was the Tarte Unicorn palette, and I forget what it's called. And even to this day, I love this palette. I just don't reach for it and I don't use it. And so I feel like the fact that I'm just not a fan anymore of Tarte palettes has kind of even tainted my thinking with my existing Tarte palettes. I'm just like, I'm not feeling it anymore. So the Sugar Plum Fun by Too Faced was a couple of holidays back. And I feel like this is one where the packaging sucks me in and has me, I'm going to keep this like literally for the packaging. I kept it in its box because I still had a couple of the little trial sizes, but I think we're good to go ahead and toss the box at this point. But once you see the cover, you're just going to be like, okay, that's why you want to keep it. It's so cute. Look how special this is. It's so pretty, so unique. And then those first two metallic shades on the top row are why I will keep this palette. They are stunning. They're so beautiful, and that was a total higher quality for Too Faced when it comes to a holiday release. So let's go into Pat McGrath. Now I've got a few of the 6-pan palettes here, and I just don't reach for them. I don't use them. I love the collector aspect of it, but I'm just not using them. And this probably would have been is my favorite of the three. Again, you know why. The pink, the purple, it's got a beautiful gold in there, but I just don't use it. I don't reach for it. It's not something, I don't know. I'd pick another palette over this palette, to be honest. And then this red one is one that I was keeping because of the red theming, and it's got like a really nice red shadow. The red and the green is just so Christmassy, and this was a holiday launch, but I just don't reach for it, so I'm going to move that one on as well. These mega palettes are insane. I love them. Those will stay in my collection probably forever. And then these large ones, they're very luxe, and the original, those two in the back, it's I think the 1 and the 3, I don't reach for, but again, they're part of the bigger collection, and I think for that reason I will hold on to them. I may end up decluttering them at some point. Oh my gosh, you guys, I wish I could have caught this reaction on, like, I wish my audio wasn't like gone on this because I was so excited to have rediscovered this palette. I completely forgot that I had it, so to find it was literally like Christmas. Then the Sour Patch Kids by Morphe. I love the theming on this. In the times that I've worn it, I've actually gotten quite a few compliments, but I find that I just don't reach for it, and I know it's because of that last row. They're more like topper shades, and you guys know how I feel about topper shades. I love me a good metallic punch of a shade, and this just doesn't do that. It's still lovely though, but I think I'm going to move that one on. This is the other Dominique Cosmetics palette that I told you I really love. It's Rustic Glam. It's stunning. And then Vivid Rose is a very bright pink by Give Me Glow, and that one is definitely staying. All right, so I'm going to come over to my little cubby table and pull out this little palette organizer. It's like an office organizer, but obviously I use it for palettes. Listen, this room has eyeshadow palettes all over it. There's just so many. So taking a peek at this Primrose palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills, I already know this one's staying with me for life. I love it so much. Going into the KK Beauty Camo palette, I love it because of the greens. Now, I've kind of fallen out of love with KKW palettes, and so This for me was a little sad because I have literally used these, if once, some not at all, just literally for swatch. So this was the birthday palette that I don't know why I felt the need that I had to have it, but it's one of those where you look back and you say, ugh, I should have had better judgment. Also, like the cherry blossom palette and just, anyways, they are very lovely shades. The quality is, I think, pretty great. I do like the quality, but I just don't reach for them. I don't know. Maybe they just, to my eye, maybe it's just boring. I don't know. But anyways, so definitely know I'm keeping that green one because I did buy it for that purpose. And then this particular one, I love the theming. I love a good bright orange shade. Honestly, I love a bright orange lip. And then this little cutie is supervising, obviously. But gosh, I just don't know. This one is also one of those where it's like, how do I part with it? I don't know. But in looking at it, I'm like, I'm just, I've used it like twice. I'm not going to reach for it anymore. So may as well just go ahead and move it on. I just need to have better judgment on what I buy, honestly. And then the Anastasia Carly Bible, that's one I will definitely keep. Very much like it. And then the Prism palette I like, but I don't use. I've used it again all of once or twice. So I'm going to go ahead and move that one on. The Modern Renaissance is a classic, and while I don't reach for it anymore, I kind of do want to keep it as a staple in my collection, and the same with the Soft Glam. It's weird to me how far Anastasia has come, you know, on their palettes. The Amrezy palette is a definite keep. I mean, that's Barbie doll in a palette. Same with Norvina. This color scheme to me is perfection, and I will hold on to that one for sure. The Sultry palette I actually like very much. Again, I've really just come to fully enjoy cool tone palettes. And then the Riviera is one of my very favorites by the brand, and this one will stay with me as well. So definitely trying to be more selective on those that I know I love and would reach for, those color stories that really do speak to me. So this is the Jackie Aina palette, and I feel like I don't reach for it, but when I do open it, I'm like, this is actually kind of pretty. So hubby and I went on date night the other night, and it's actually one that I used. So I'm going to hold on to that one just because it does have shades that I would put to use. So that being said, I cleared out quite a bit of space in here. I mean, it took me a minute to decide on Soft Glam and Modern Renaissance, but we're holding on to them. So coming over to my Morphe palettes, like the Artist Pass and like this one, the Desert Bouquet, so with Morphe palettes, right off the bat, like I know if I'm going to like them and use them, and that's why all of these have remained in my collection. The only one, that Jaclyn Hill Volume 2, I love, and this Lisa Frank, honestly, I'm keeping just for the nostalgia of it, for the Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper type look. I'm not a fan of the shades. The Mickey palette I actually like very much, and then you guys know I've used this other one, the Turn Up the Lights or Hit the Lights or whatever. This 39L was a Hollywood holiday one from like a couple years ago, and I love it. These are just single glitters by Anastasia that I haven't reached for, but I really need to because they're beautiful. So these sets by, we're going to come back to these. These are like a lot of the holiday sets by Too Faced. We're going to end up moving some of these on. As much as I like them for looking at, they're not for looking at, they're for using, and I just don't use them. So we'll come back to those. What did I tell you? I've got palettes all over this place. So these are like my little mini palettes, and I keep them in this little swivel tray type thing, which you can see is bursting at the seams. So this is the Star Aura palette by Charlotte Tilbury, and as much as I was enjoying this one, when I bought this holiday season's quad, forget what it was called, I don't know, it kind of like, not put a damper, but I didn't like this one as much for whatever reason. It's still beautiful. I am a firm believer in that Charlotte Tilbury shades are so effortless, so classy, but I'm just not using this one, so I think we're going to move that one on. Going into a few of the Too Faced, so that's my jam. I'm definitely keeping that one. I love those shades. Now, getting into the Hot Buttered Rum, we're going to go ahead and move that one on. Same thing with Salted Caramel. You get swept up by the whole holiday release thing, and then you never use the stuff again. Shake Your Pom Poms I love because of that green, so obviously we're going to hold on to that one. Olive greens just suck me right in. And then the Tickled Peach, it's very pretty, but I don't use it. I think I've used it like twice. One of those times was probably to swatch it. So going into the Fenty Snap Shadows in number 10, I'm not a huge fan of the formula, but honestly the shades, you know, are those greens. And then this Metallic palette by Makeup by Mario took me a couple of uses to really fall in love with it, and that now I'm a firm believer that if you love metallics, you need this palette in your collection. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. So that's definitely staying in my collection, as well as these Norvina small pigment palettes. There's just a quality that I really like about those. These Rare Beauty palettes, listen, I knew better when I bought them that I wasn't going to use them. I just kind of, again, was swept in the fact that it was Rare Beauty, and I was loving Rare Beauty, still do. But the shades I knew didn't speak to me, and I still bought them. So we're going to move these on. Oh gosh, I can't even tell you what a waste, because I literally used them like once. But yeah, we got to move these on. I'm just not going to use them anymore, and they're just taking up space in my collection.
Okay, so we've cleared off a ton of room here on the top shelf. So let's go ahead and move into this one. So this houses a lot of my Huda Obsessions palettes, and I find it hard to part with these. So the neons are definitely not going anywhere. Wow, I didn't remember I still had a couple of the original ones of these. Well, let's see. Let's keep pulling these out. My goodness. Okay. I didn't remember still having these. These are like the true originals. Let's see. Whoop. Still in their sleeves and everything. Yeah, see, I'm keeping that one. I love that. I know I love the topaz one. Let's see, this, I do think I do still like the smoky. I've whittled them down from what I used to have. Gosh, but I never use this. That's the thing. I feel like this one is going to be probably a move on. The mauve I will hold on to. Let's see, the amethyst. Let's take a peek. We'll hold on to that one. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to hold on to this one too. You guys know how I feel about the greens. I already know I'm holding on to that one, so not even going to open it up. Okay, so we've got that, and then let's see, we've got another one in here. Oh, for sure keeping that one. The Wild Obsessions, and then the, I forget what they're called. We'll come across them here shortly, and I'll let you know, are my favorites. Like the one that comes in light, medium, and rich or something. And then let's see. Oh, we're definitely holding on to this. This is the Eternal Eden Quad. And then, of course, the other two Wild palettes that I have that I love so, so much. Those are some of her best. Okay, so then let's move down here to this last little tray. If I can even, okay, maybe we go this way first. So the gold palette, the Gold Obsessions palette, this was a, I think, not Beautylish, Cult Beauty exclusive at the time. And I feel like there's been different variations at this point of this palette, but I'm definitely holding on to this. Love this one. Okay, so there's that. And then let's see, which ones are these? Ooh, these are good ones too. The Toffee Brown, Caramel Brown, and Chocolate Brown. Definitely holding on to those. Where are the ones I was telling you about? They're over here. Okay, these were probably some of my least favorites, but I don't want to part with these, I don't think. Let's take a peek. They're just so light, and the pastel shades just take so much building, but we're still going to hold on to them. Oops. And then same with the lilac. So here are the ones I was telling you about. They're the ones with that like faux leather type of cover. The nude medium, nude light, nude rich. These and the Wild ones are probably my very favorite Obsessions palettes by the brand. So then let's see. Oh, and this one's a great one. The Khaki Haze. This is another wonderful one. I didn't pick up the others in this line. There's like purple and And I keep on thinking I want to, but if I've lived without them for this long, then I just probably don't need them. That's a great one too. And then let's see, we've got the Celestial Divinity, and got a couple more in here that I think, well, that I know we're gonna keep. This one's the newest one. And this is the Celestial Pearl. It's the one from this last holiday season. That's a must. I love that one. And then this I'm holding on to. This is Dazzling Diamonds in the Luxury palette of pops. That was from last holiday season. And then one final quad. Oh, this is Risque Rose. What was the blue one? Oh, Interstellar Icon. Okay, cool. So we're definitely holding on to that. So I think the most purging happened up here. So let me go ahead and place these back in here, and then we will do our last few palettes and call it a day. I'm telling you, I have palettes all over this room. Wherever they fit, that's where I will snag them. So, okay. Then we've got, let's see, Pumpkin Spice. These are good ones. These tin ones, I think I still really enjoy. So I am going to hold on to them. I don't want to regret moving them along. I actually love this palette. I never reach for it because I forget I have it, but I need to put it more in a place where I would reach for it because I really do like that. And then of course, Cinnamon Swirl, we're going to keep for sure. I don't see myself decluttering a whole lot in here. But this is the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette, definitely keeping that. The Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette, Smoky Eyes Are Forever. I think this was from this past holiday season, definitely keeping that, along with the last two from holiday. So those are incredible. Let's see, the Natural Nudes, I forgot this one even existed. This one's a good one though, so I will hold on to this one. The mattes in this are really nice. And then we've got some Kylie palettes. We've got a lot of Kylie palettes actually that I forgot I even had. Let me see. This one's not in its box, so let's okay. Well, that one is broken. So I think we're gonna toss this one. I can't declutter that. Okay. Well, there we go. Let's go ahead and there's a way to declutter for sure. Let's take a peek at these because I forgot, honestly, that I even had these. So I don't remember what they look like. Now this one, I'm pretty certain I'm going to keep. I feel like I really liked this one based on the, yeah, I think, I'm thinking I will probably hold on to this one. Let's see, what else we got? I feel like it would have been so much easier for me to take these out of their boxes beforehand. This is the, I forgot this one even existed. But obviously, if I forgot that existed, do I even need it? Probably not. We'll move it on. Let's see. This one I probably will keep because I know it was part of a Valentine's collection, and I actually, yep, I really like this one. So the tones in this, you guys know I live for those kind of tones. So we'll hold on to that one. Let's check out Chill Baby. So it's one of the good things about these declutters. Not only do you kind of make extra space, but you find palettes that you forgot you had that you may need to use. I actually really like this one too. So I will hold on to this one. And then the infamous Naughty and Nice, which I will probably hold on to, honestly. Let's check one of them out. That might help us decide. Got a little bit of makeup on there. I mean, it's not something that I feel myself reaching for anytime soon. So maybe we just declutter these two. I like this one a lot as far as like packaging and stuff, but the only two that call to me are those two. I'm going to put it in the declutter pile because I'm likely going to move these on. So, I mean, it may be a last minute, you know, that I change my mind, but I do think I'm going to, we're going to move those on. Okay, so the last ones are what I talked about, the sets. And I honestly think that I'm just going to go ahead and move these on, which I never thought I'd say that, but I don't ever use them. And if you, let me move this aside, because if you don't remember when these were released, I will show you. They are so, so cute. Look, it's like a little, it's Christmas in Paris. The other one was Christmas in New York. The only thing it's missing is the mascara, but look at the little shopping bags. And then of course right here, you have your eyeshadow palette. But realistically, I've used it maybe like all of 3 times and never again. So I honestly think it's time to move these on. And these are more like from a collector's perspective, you know, because I don't know how much use someone would get out of this, but from a collector's perspective, these are really, really beautiful. So I think I'm going to move those on. And I think the ever so infamous, famous, whatever, the little houses. These are also super cute, but look how adorable. It's like a little room, and it came with the 3 palettes, but I don't use them. I use them for decoration, literally. So I think it's time to move these on as well. So that being said, let me go ahead and gather everything together so that we can see together the kind of progress that we made today. So hang tight and I'll bring you back to the final stack. This is a ton of eyeshadow palettes and is actually more than I expected to declutter. There's several that I really didn't think I would kind of, you know, take the plunge and just move into this pile. But honestly, if I don't use them, I may as well keep the space for ones that I actually will and do use, and space for more that may come along or that will come along. So this is what we've got. This is what's gonna go up on Poshmark, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of it. So that being said, you guys, thanks again for stopping by. Thank you for going through this declutter with me, for just, literally, wading through all of these eyeshadow palettes. So hope you enjoyed. Until the next declutter. Alrighty, my friends, well, that brings us to the end of today's declutter video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that if you like declutter videos, this one hit the right spot for you. If you did enjoy it, I just ask that you would give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel, and that you would consider subscribing if you are new. Before I let you go, I just want to give you a very quick verse of the day to motivate you, encourage you, and to tell you that Jesus loves you. Today's comes from Psalm 17:6, and it says, "I call on you, O God, for you will answer me. Give ear to me and hear my prayer." So I don't know what chapter of life you're in. I don't know what situation you may be going through at the moment, but I just extend the invitation to you to call on Jesus. He is the absolute most wonderful thing that could ever happen to you. He is just so amazing at helping to carry your burdens, and you don't have to go through it alone. Life can be very difficult, but with Jesus, it's so much better. Alrighty, my friends, well, I will see you in the next video. So until then, stay safe and stay well. I will talk to you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.